Am I the asshole here for refusing to go on my boyfriend's graduation trip unless we room together? My 23 female, boyfriend 23 male, will be graduating college in a couple of months. His mum, 39 female, wanted to plan a graduation trip for him. For context, my boyfriend doesn't have the best relationship with his mum. They rarely see each other, although my boyfriend and I live 5 minutes away from her. From everything he has told me, there was a lot of abuse when he was a child, and his whole family is low contact with her, which was her decision. Now to the issue. She planned a trip with her boyfriend, his 2 kids, my boyfriend's sister, and obviously my boyfriend to another country. She told my boyfriend that he could invite me if he wanted to, but I would have to pay for my stuff, which I don't mind, and she will be paying for my boyfriend's trip. My boyfriend had no say in where the trip was going to be, and his mum said that we were not allowed to room together. I would be rooming with his sister, 14 female, and her boyfriend's daughter, 10 female, while my boyfriend will be rooming with her boyfriend's son, 14 male. We are staying in an all-inclusive resort, but I feel like I'm only going to babysit. Even my boyfriend mentioned he was scared that his mum would just force him to babysit the kids. I'm also scared that something will happen to one of the kids, like if they fall and get hurt or wander off, and I'll be blamed for it since it feels like she wants us to take care of them. My boyfriend says that I can pay for my own room, but he doesn't think that his mum will let him room with me. I also don't want to stay alone in a room in a foreign country, but I know this is going to cause issues with his mum. In the end, I told him that I wouldn't go unless we roomed together, but he's upset since he wants me to go. So am I the asshole here? In the comments, why don't you and your boyfriend just pay for your own room? OP says, right? This is the exact point I brought up. From what he's told me, she is set on a solid no, even if him and I split the cost of the room. Quote, I also don't want to stay alone in a room in a foreign country. Unless you're in a really violent or increasingly backwards and misogynistic country like the USA? Damn. Normally, that shouldn't be a problem. However, I wouldn't go at all with a family like that. OP says, you're probably right about that. I've never been to this country, and she won't tell us the name of the resort, so I have no idea where we would be staying. I'm assuming it's nice, but I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than assuming. They've also mentioned that they don't want to stay in the resort the whole time. Not the asshole. Don't go. Very simple. Don't go, don't negotiate, it will only turn into more issues with his mum, and then you will be the bad guy soon. Your boyfriend doesn't seem strong enough to stand up to her, so it is very likely that you will be blamed. No need to subject yourself to this. Save your money from another vacation. Really, don't start arguing. Simply don't go. And rethink the wisdom of involvement with a man who apparently cannot separate himself from his mum, even though he doesn't like her. OP says, yeah, this is what I've been thinking about all day, but he doesn't see it like that. In his head, he has no say since she is paying for him. You guys are 23. Let's be real, you're both 23, you can pay for a room for yourself, you can have your own privacy without being expected to be babysitters. They're just trying to get free babysitters without you guys being able to have sex, without you guys being able to be a couple. You guys are siblings or cousins as far as they're concerned on this family vacation, and you have to pay for yourself and you don't get the benefits of an all-inclusive resort stay. I'm with commenter 4. I think you should rethink the wisdom of involvement with this man who can't separate himself from his mum, even though he doesn't like her very much. She's 5 minutes away and he doesn't visit her. Why is that? My mum's 5 minutes away and she's at my place all the time. She won't leave me alone because she loves me and I love her. I got nothing against the woman. I think that's a normal, healthy relationship to have with your mother. Anything out of the bounds of normal without a damn good reason? That's suspicious. I don't like that. And now, onto the update. This is the first update that I've ever done, so I hope I'm doing this right. First of all, thank you for all of the advice. It has made me take a step back and not only think about this situation, but about my relationship. The day I posted this, I had a conversation with my boyfriend that snowballed into the worst fight we have ever had. He accused me of trying to convince him to not go on the trip, which isn't something that I had even brought up. He said he wants me to go since it's a free trip to a country that he has never been to. He did end up telling me that his mum said no to us rooming together for the following reasons. 1. We aren't married, but neither are her and her boyfriend. 2. We are too young. And 3. Because I said so. I spoke with my boyfriend last night, and it turns out that some of you suggested she might be helping him with money were correct. She took out loans to help pay for his schooling. They are all under her name, but if she stops paying, he feels responsible for them. I also think she was helping him out with grocery money since he's part-time, so she's pretty much holding all of this over his head. He did end up asking her if he was going to babysit, and she answered the next day at 8 a.m. with, "Stop being so negative. Good night." He told me how childish and immature she is, but the truth is, I don't want to spend my life battling his mum. He promised me that I wouldn't, and that things will change when he graduates, but I'll believe it when I see it. Oh god, there's so many red flags. What the hell? I hate this. It's so icky. Part of the reason that I'm even contemplating going is because I want to see what I'm signing up for and if he is willing to stick up for me. If he isn't, then we are done. I won't waste years of my life on someone that can't even defend me. He did tell her that if I were to go, then I would book my own room reservation. My idea, since I don't want any surprises. She's now telling him that he's blowing things out of proportion. They're supposed to talk tonight, and he's pretty angry about the whole situation, so I'll let you all know how it goes. So sorry for the super long update. In the comments, he did tell her that if I were going, then I would book my own room reservation. Well, if you go and have to pay for your own trip, you're allowed to do whatever the hell you want. The fact she is mad at you both because you want your own room kinda proves that you were right thinking that you were only invited to babysit. I wouldn't go. Not even to see what's what. You will only be miserable and will now associate that country with that experience. Honestly, I don't think it's worth it. Not the asshole. OP replies, I agree. I think she confirmed that I was only going to take care of the kids. She just gave my boyfriend the name of the resort. I looked it up, and it turns out that a child and a teen stay for free, but an adult has to accompany them in the room. It's a package, but I'm thinking that's what she wanted to do. Leave me with the kids that aren't paying to be there, and her boyfriend can have their own space. I haven't looked at the prices or compared it to how much she originally wanted me to give her, but I think you're right about not going. Someone else says, quote, part of the reason that I'm even contemplating going is because I want to see what I'm signing up for and if he's willing to stick up for me. You don't need to go to see that. You already know that he won't stand up for you. OP says, I don't think I spoke much about my boyfriend's character. He is truly the best person that I've ever been with. Guys, say the line, except this one thing. Except this load-bearing issue on our relationship. He's the best person ever. I love him so much. He's everything I ever wanted in a partner, but I know you could be right about this. I want to believe that he would stand up for me if it came down to it, but I also need to be realistic and consider how this situation has been handled so far. Oh, it's so sad seeing this in action. Commenter 3. Note, it's not downvoted commenter 3, so we're good. Are you really going to waste the money to go and have your own room and still be pushed into babysitting? You know your boyfriend isn't going to be allowed to room with you, even if you pay for it, so why are you wasting the money to go to be put in the exact positions neither of you want to be in? You aren't going to get to have any alone time on this quote-unquote vacation. You aren't going to get long walks on the beach or snuggly time in front of the fire. You aren't going to get any sort of romantic time with your boyfriend. You will both get to be the babysitters, and why would you go to dinner alone? This is a family trip. We eat together. OP says, yes, I would much rather spend the money on a vacation for the two of us to enjoy. He did offer to pay for half of it yesterday. I forgot to mention this in the post, but either way, we are both students, plus the money I would lose from not being at work. I know he really wants me to be there, and I want to celebrate him, but I'm not convinced this is a celebration for him at all. And now, onto the second update. Thank you for all of your advice and support. I really needed to hear some of it. Unfortunately, this isn't a good update. I am now essentially unwelcome on the trip. I wasn't outright uninvited, but that's how I interpreted it. My boyfriend talked to his mum yesterday, as planned. From what he told me, she called me ungrateful, a brat, said that I'm trying to make everything about myself, as well as other things that I don't want to think about right now. She said that I was making up excuses to get a room alone with my boyfriend, which I was not. I have no reason to lie. I asked my boyfriend about me getting the separate reservation for my room like we had talked about, and that's when he broke the news that she had already booked the rooms for 4 adults and 3 kids, and it's not refundable. I'm pretty sure she did this on purpose to try to get me to accept her terms. I'm not sure if this is important to mention, but my boyfriend had invited me on the trip last week, and I told him that I wasn't sure. I told him to give me a couple of days to figure it out, since my family member was in the hospital and we weren't sure if they were going to make it, so obviously my priorities were elsewhere. She knew this and booked the reservation regardless. He started telling me how much he loved me. He told me he was done with his mum and wants to go no contact when we move, and that after he graduates, things will change. The trip is a couple of months after he graduates, so I asked him what he was going to do. He said he was still going since it's a free trip to a country that he's never been to. I then asked him what was going to change, and he said that he had to go along with what she says because she is helping him. I was trying my best to understand his situation because although it might seem easy for me, I know there's a lot more at play. I asked him if I was uninvited, and he said no. His mum said I could go on the trip as long as I went along with what she wanted. I asked again if I could get my own room, and he said no because he doesn't want me to spend that kind of money if it's not worth it, and said that would cause tension, and since his mum already had booked the reservation, she would lose money. So, her way or the highway. He knew that I wouldn't go along with this, so pretty much I can't go. He might invite a friend to go instead, but I don't know. Last night, he said that he felt like there was no winning with me unless he doesn't go on the trip. If I'm being honest, I do feel betrayed by him still wanting to go on the trip after she disrespected me, but I'm also so tired and emotionally drained, I'm not sure if I'm valid for feeling like this. As of this morning, she has officially threatened to cut all financial support. He says that he's at a point where he would rather not have her support than have to deal with this. I know that the reason she's doing this is because she's mad at me, and that this is her way of punishing me. I'm sorry for the long and not so positive update. I tried to include all the details that I could, but I might have forgotten some. I haven't slept in over 24 hours, so please bear with me. In the comments, I read through your original posts and then the updates, and I don't really understand why you want to go. Besides the fact that it's overseas somewhere, it's to a resort, and probably a small element of babysitting, but there were probably enough ways for kids to stay occupied, especially when they're not that young. If your boyfriend wants to go, let him. If he doesn't, okay, but putting yourself into that environment just sounds, well, dumb. You don't want to play by her rules? Then don't. It's that simple. If you want to go away with a friend, go literally anywhere else in the world. Or just chill at home. You don't have to spend all that money, just save it. Either way, I feel like you're really caught up on all of this and making it seem really complicated. But it's not. You don't want to be around the mother and she's not paying for you or including you anyway, so don't go. Easy. Finished. Another commenter says, let me give you some advice. You are 23, he is 23. That's pretty young, all things considered. For the moment, he is still financially indebted to his family. If you two are serious about a future together, have a serious talk together and pick your battles. You hate his mother's disrespect. That's valid. You are not in a position to fight her disrespect yet. Neither of you two are. And to do it before you're ready will only cost you more in the long run, as well as create this short-term distress. If I were you, stay home. Let him go, save your money, and tend to your family member. Recharge, rest, and plan. Why get roped into the web of abuse? You can't help people who don't want to be helped. Shit is too expensive to take a vacation to a resort in another country that you don't even want to take. Like seriously, OP could go on a few solo trips in the country for the same amount of money and she'll actually enjoy them. Or an equal trip somewhere she actually wants to go and not sit in a resort watching kids the entire time. He's the best guy I've ever dated. Ma'am, you're 23. That is an incredibly low bar and he's acting like a spineless ass. Go find the new best guy that doesn't let his mum bully you and isolate you into free childcare. Yeah, fucks are finite, and she's still got plenty of them at 23. By 40, this wouldn't even be a post-it note. I'm sure that there are many young, beautiful 40-year-old women that could very much agree with that. I don't know why she's giving so many fucks to this situation when she could simply not. I think in 10 years from now, she's gonna look back on this situation and kick herself for giving this best guy I ever dated so many chances. It's always the promise over the horizon of things will get better. Let's just stick it out, baby. I promise you, I'm gonna do better. We're gonna be better. Not right now though, but someday in the future. Just give me time for that. Let's just keep delaying. Much like with that story about that couple that was dating for a ridiculous amount of time and he just would never propose to her and just never was going to do it. And then when they had that date where she thought he was going to propose to her, all he got her was like a bracelet. I learned from stories like that let's stop the bullshit, let's stop the waiting. If your partner wanted to, they would. And in this situation, this young man does not want to free himself from his mum, bullying him, bullying you, isolating you into free childcare. It's not worth it. Please leave his ass. Thank you for the story and thank you for the update, OP. Very cool. Our next post is by user FadedToss62, titled, "Would I be the asshole if I didn't allow my half-brother to move into the house that we inherited from my father? I'm 28 male and my sister is 29. When we were kids, our parents separated for a while, like 2 years, but got back together later on. During that period, my dad got a random woman pregnant. I can barely remember it being a thing, but we were so young that it didn't have too much impact in the long run. We've never spoken to him, except as we were growing up, he'd follow us on socials and would try to start conversations with awkward happy birthdays, and we entertained him until he tried to ask for money one time, so we've kind of ignored him since. I don't think anybody in our family has really kept up with him, including our dad, except maybe our aunt, who would give us random updates about him here and there. I'm pretty sure he's 23 or 24. Anyway, my dad has unfortunately passed somewhat unexpectedly, but he was an older guy. I don't want to get into it, to be honest, but it's been about 4 months since me and my sister have been staying at his house that has been passed down to us and figuring out all the other stuff. We recently got a formal letter from the HB's lawyer, which I'm pretty sure is just his friend, but that's besides the point, asking for his portion of everything. So we were practically forced to meet with him, where he gave us a sob story about how he needed help and a place to stay, or he would take us to court. So basically forcing our hand to make a choice soon. I think it's ridiculous to let basically a stranger into our home and our lives like this, but the alternative is selling everything if we were forced to give him stuff. My aunt says that I'm being an asshole and that he's no different from a distant relative at worst, but I feel like he has bad intentions or something, and honestly, I think it's wrong for him to swoop in and lay claim to a place that he has never stepped foot in and ask help from people he doesn't even know. I bet he's been waiting for this for a while now. Anyway, what do y'all think? If you need info, feel free to ask, like I've been typing forever. Jeez. In the comments, Scarlet Not That One says, "If there's a will leaving the house to you and your sister, then that's a done deal. If there is no will, then this other child of your father may have a legitimate claim to a share of the estate. These are legal questions, not Reddit questions. You're the asshole. Your dad was a deadbeat father to this man, and he deserves an equal share. Dad was a dick to this guy while he was alive. Now that he's dead, he would like to continue the family tradition. Seriously, OP has just lost their dad. I know it's a tough moment and I sympathize, but the logic of he didn't know us, so he shouldn't have a right to anything, is just cruel. He didn't choose not to know them. In fact, he tried to get to know them and was blown off. Yeah, he would do these weird things like be nice to us and wish us happy birthdays and try to get to know us. Anyways, Dad abandoned him. How can we try to cut off any form of helping this nice young man? Well, when you put it like that, yeah, I think you're a bit of an asshole, OP. I don't think OP is going to split the house and split the inheritance with this younger brother, and I doubt they're even going to let their younger brother move in. But I definitely would go talk to a lawyer if I were OP and see what your rights are and see what the will says about all of this. Again, I really don't feel like you, OP, are going to help him out at all. And you are just going to continue the tradition that your father started, and that is heartless, and that makes you an arsehole. And now, onto the update. Somewhat anticlimactic update, but like y'all said, we ended up buying out his portion of the house, and me and my sister got all of the items of sentimental value, or that we just liked, since he was down to pretty much take whatever else. I overestimated how much 1/3 was, honestly, and although the buyout was costly, and I was pretty bitter about it leading up to the inheritance, it truly wasn't an insane amount, and we got it handled easily. Our half-brother was pretty cordial about it too, surprisingly. He asked us a ton of random backstory questions, but it wasn't a stressful screaming and crying estate split at all. After everything was split, we said goodbye. According to my aunt, he secured a new place to stay near her, about 10 minutes away from us. So good for him. I might see him around town on my own, which, to be honest, I hate how awkward that would be, but nonetheless, everything went well. I will admit that I slightly overreacted in the original post, but in all fairness, who wouldn't in my situation? So I don't blame myself too much. In the comments, just another guy here says, "What is sad is how your father and family abandoned this young person and then felt offended when he tried to reach out periodically. At least you both had parents to support you and your sister growing up. He didn't. Perhaps take a moment to reflect on how you've excluded him because of something he had no control over. He didn't make your dad get his mum pregnant. He was a young kid with no dad trying to reach out to the other half of his family and constantly being rejected. I'm not saying you have to do anything with this, but perhaps just reflect on it. Yeah, I can't imagine being 23 and having to deal with this entirely alone, up against two people who see you as the enemy for having been born and treat you as less than gum under their shoe for just asking for what you deserve. I'm glad he has some funds to now support him in this difficult transition. The whole time I was reading the post, all I could think was, the apple didn't fall very far from the arsehole tree. In all fairness, who wouldn't in my situation? Gee, maybe anyone with a bit of empathy for a fellow human being your own father created? I would have voted you're the arsehole on your original post. Your father died intestate, and your half-brother was entitled to 1/3 of the estate. Legally, you had no grounds to deny him that. He was entitled to his share. Morally, you were an arsehole too. You had no right to be bitter at a young man claiming his rightful inheritance. Your father abandoned him. I'm glad you realized you had no choice and that everything is settled now. Yeah, still you're the arsehole. Congrats on doing the minimally right thing. Hopefully you don't become a parent ever. I'm nitpicking here, but I don't know if doing something you were legally obligated to can really be called doing the minimally right thing. To me, that is neutral at best. OP just did something that they were compelled to do. Well, you know what? Good stuff that you did that, OP. You did the thing that you were compelled to do, and you did it well. God, I'm so happy that he didn't even get an insane amount of money. That arsehole reaching out to us to have conversations, to get some random backstory from us, to ask for help when he was in dire straits and try to be involved in our lives. Ew, this disgusting cockroach infesting the house that is my life. Get him out of here. Your posts drip with resentment and a huge lack of empathy at all, OP. I hope you have the day that you deserve. Thank you for bringing your story and your update to Reddit, but you have left a very sour taste in my mouth. I hope that he does stay away from you guys, because if he ever does maintain some form of contact with you guys, I don't think he will be happy with associating with people like you. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!